Beautiful people, welcome back to our channel and thank you so much for joining today. If this is your first time, please do us a favor, like this video and do not forget to subscribe to our channel, because if you do subscribe, a lot of people will watch this video from recommendations from YouTube. Today's video is a very important video, and I don't do this, but I decided to bring out these particular questions to make this video, because I notice a lot of people are new followers and they still don't understand how the process works, or maybe how the procedures work. I got a question from my YouTube comment section. The question says that I got two rejections. One was a student visa and the other one was a visit visa. How can I reapply and address my rejection? Now, this was the question I got. And from this question, you can rightly say that, or tell that, this individual is not really versed with what he is doing, because instead of him to say what could be the common reasons, he is asking me how can he reapply. It means that probably someone is working on his visa application. Well, if you are in the same pot of soap, do not worry, do not panic. Let's look at some of the common reasons why you can get a rejection for both a study visa and a visitor visa. Now, there is something I always tell international students: to always try to avoid rejections, because rejections can basically bring a particular pattern, or let's say can maybe put something on your profile, you understand? Because of course, if you are applying for a visa, being it a student visa, being it a visitor visa, you are still going to have your name in the system. So before you do the application, always make sure that you are actually really confident with what you are doing, you understand? Because a lot of people, they still don't know what they are doing. If you ask them, some don't even know where to apply. And now, looking at this rejection offer, you can clearly see that the young man in question is saying that, how can I reapply and address my rejection? There are three things I always say in my videos for study permit, for visitors visa. Study visa or visitor visa, any is okay to go. Now, you are applying for a student visa. There are key things you need to put into consideration. One, your proof of funds. Two, your home ties. Three, your letter of explanation. I'm going to be addressing them on both sides. I will be switching at any time. All right, so you understand what you are going to do. For proof of funds, let's start with that one. Proof of funds is very important, because the visa officer, you are going to watch a video I did about a B1 H1 visa or B1 B2 visas, and I talked about three things: credibility, all right, of how they want to know, is the money you are saying that is your proof of funds, is it actually credible? They want to know the actual source of the money, and they want to know who is going to be a sponsor. For proof of funds to study in Canada for a study permit, according to IRCC, the three people that can sponsor you is or are: one, yourself as the student; two, your father; three, your mother; four, your siblings, that's brother and sisters. Now, these are the people that can sponsor you. That sometimes IRCC will look at their application and IRCC will be like, okay, this person is okay when it comes to sponsor. Let's look at now the money, because they already know the people who are sponsoring you. Yes, you may be asking yourself now, why is Milton not talking about my company sponsoring me, my uncle sponsoring me? But if you are an old follower on this channel, you would have heard me or hear me mention the fact that I do not support aunties, uncles, companies sponsoring you, because at this stage it reduces the chances of getting the visa. Not like you cannot get a visa with this, but there are extra documents you need to go beyond reasonable doubts to clear the fact that these people can sponsor you. And if you must do this, know that you have to prove that they have been sponsoring you since your primary education or maybe secondary education till university. Okay, so you have to prove this. But as of it stands, the first people is yourself, your mother, your father, your brother or sister. Now, If you are the one sponsoring yourself and you are telling the visa officer that you have money in your account, what are you doing to get that money? First of all, how much do you need for proof of funds? As an international student for single applicant, assuming that you are not going with your wife or children, you need to have 10,000 Canadian dollars for living cost money. Secondly, you need to have your entire tuition fee in your bank account. The reason why I said entire is because most of the time the embassy will reject you saying that you do not show sufficient funds. So don't give them any gap or don't give them any reason to refuse your visa. All right, do not give them. So your entire tuition fee. The last one is money to prove that you are going to come back. You are paying your air ticket to come back to your home country. It is called miscellaneous. In this case, show like $5,000 for miscellaneous. Yes, if you calculate $10,000 for your tuition fee, or not for your tuition fee, for living costs, then you calculate your program. That is why when you come to me and ask me, Milton, how much do I need to relocate to Canada? I will tell you it depends on your school, and I will give you the options to go and do the calculation. You must have selected or have a school in mind. So you need to know your tuition fee. Let's assume your tuition fee is 20,000 Canadian dollars a year, and the living cost money is 10,000 Canadian dollars. This is already 20,000. Remember, we said a year. So you need to be looking at the school which is affordable that you can pay. Let's assume that you are paying a school like NBCC, New Brunswick Community College, and you are paying just $10,000 a year. For 2 years is 20,000. Now 20,000 plus your living cost money, 10,000, that's 30,000, plus miscellaneous 5,000, that's $35,000. You can now change it to your own local currency and see how much you will be needing in franc CFA, in Nigerian naira, in maybe Kenyan shillings or South African rands. All right, change that, then you are going to see that now that is how much should be in the bank account. Now the bank account should be for who is showing that bank account. If you are the applicant showing the bank account, how did you get that money in that account? That is the first thing you need to say. Now if you are working, all right, if you are actually working, you need to prove that you are working, your employment contract, your pay slips, okay, maybe a reference letter from your company to prove that you are actually working. Excellent. And again, if you are doing this, you are telling the visa officer you have worked, or maybe there are proof that you have worked for maybe 2.5 years, 3 years, then remember your backup document should be a letter of explanation. You stand a chance. I'm not saying that if you have not worked for maybe 2 or 3 years, you do not stand a chance. No. It is a case by case something, so it's different. Now if your mother is the one sponsoring you, she needs to bring her bank account, a bank statement, showing this amount of money inside. Then bring documents on how she is getting her money. Does she work? If yes, supply all those documents. Same thing for your father, same thing for your siblings. Then in this case, now you use their birth certificate to support your application, to show the relationship between you guys. They are your father, they are your siblings, they are your ID cards, passport, and birth certificates play a greater role. You want to give the visa officer every evidence to give you the visa. You don't have to joke with this, okay? It is very important. This is proof of funds only. Now if you are the one sponsoring yourself, you are working, or you have a business. If you have a business, bring it. If they have businesses, let them do the same thing. If they are in foreign countries, or maybe in the Canada as well, excellent. But know that they have to verify the credibility of the funds. I don't know if the embassy or IRCC is going to check the bank. I do not know, but do not lie, because lying will lead you into problems. A ban is 10 years, 5 years. Do you want to be banned? I think that is something you don't want in your life. Now we are done with proof of funds. Okay, let's take a look at home ties. Home ties are things that will bring you back to your home country. If you are the applicant and you are going to study, all right, let's say you took a 1-year program and you want to go and study in Canada. First, were you working? If you were working, excellent. Now you have to go to your company, attach all those other documents I mentioned before. Then you go to your company and talk with your human resource or supervisors or whoever to draft a document to prove that you are going to come back to the company, maybe assume a bigger position. If you've been watching my videos, you will know what I'm talking about. Okay, or they are giving you leave to go to school, and when you return back you are going to continue working with them. I think this document is a great boost to your visa application. Now that is home ties. Let's assume that you are not working, you have a family, you have two children, one child, a wife, or brothers and sisters back home, your parents, your old parents, maybe your sick parents. If your parents are sick, bring medical documents to prove that they are sick from the hospital. If not, bring birth certificate of your parents. Or maybe say you are leaving your parents back home, none of your family members is in Canada, you are leaving them back home, your children, you show proof that they are your children. You bring your marriage certificate to show proof that you are married to your wife and your wife is back home. Then you also explain that you are leaving all these people behind, and there is no way you are going to leave them here and you go and remain in Canada, because you don't have anybody to associate with and your family means a lot to you. This is home ties. Then if you have real estate companies, if you have proof of lands, if you have cars, if you have, maybe you are a contractor, you have bulldozers and all the rest, you have a car company, or maybe you have a real estate company, anything, houses, lands, bring all those documents. Those are proof of funds. Those are home ties. Okay, this is how you show proof of home ties, and at the end of the day you get the visa. Now, let's assume that you sold your property, the only properties you have, you sold them to move abroad. Do you still have your family back home? Excellent. You explain to them, if you have your children back there, you are living to maybe your auntie, you explain that you are leaving your kids, and of course, after you finish your program, you're coming back. But a document from your company is very powerful, your family is very powerful, and your assets, do you have properties back home? Very, very powerful. These are the type of things you show. I'm explaining this now to address this question that this person asked me, that she has been rejected so many times. These are the common reasons that will get you rejected, among all the things. I know for proof of funds, when it comes to visitor visa, proof of funds varies, but the more money you have, the better. At least start by having at least $7,000 upwards to like $10,000 if you are going for 7 days or maybe 10 days upwards. At least start from $7,000. Okay, it's very, very important. Now let's go to the last option, which is your letter of explanation. If you are going for a visitor visa, let's say you are going as a visitor or as a tourist, did you actually draft a letter of explanation to explain to the visa officer where you are going to be visiting, the places you are going to be visiting, the number of days you are going to be in there, and of course the hotel you are going to stay, and why are you taking a visit, or why are you going there as a tourist? How is the trip going to be beneficial to you or your country? Did you explain that? Because this is a common way. I saw somebody applying for a visitor visa, nothing, she was going as a tourist, nothing, she didn't explain like this. The visa was rejected after a few days. Then another lady was deported from Canada because she was unable to maybe just list one tourist destination in Canada. How can you be going to a country as a tourist and you don't know any place? Niagara Falls is very common, which is one of the tourist attractions in Ontario. You don't know. Why can you be doing that? So a letter of explanation, this is for the tourist section. If you are going with a conference letter, you want to attend a conference, it is simple. Explain the conference you are going to attend, the use of the conference to you, where you are going to be staying, the number of days you are spending, how much you have, and that is it. And that is it. You show documents. Remember, when you are going for a visit visa, or when you are applying for such a visa, you have to at least prove to them that you are not at work at that particular time. You cannot abandon your job. And the worst one is when you are showing documents to prove that you are working and you are not showing a document to show that you are on leave. It doesn't make a lot of sense. Okay, they will just look at you as someone who is not serious. So always try to prove beyond reasonable doubt so that the embassy officials will find reasons to give you the visa. Okay, there is a common saying, and I think this is very true. If your visa delays when you apply for it, it delays maybe 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. I think that your chances of getting the visa is high. But if they want to reject you, it won't even take more than a month. You will get a rejection. But it doesn't apply in all cases. So I'm not saying that you should pin this because I said that if your visa is more than a month, you are going to get it. No, I didn't say so. It doesn't apply in all cases. Now, let's look at letter of explanation for your study purpose. You have to write a letter of explanation if you are going as a student to Canada, right? First, did you tell the visa officer the name of your program, how long it takes, and the city in which you are going to be studying? Secondly, did you tell the visa officer who is going to be your sponsor and how you are getting your money, though you attach those documents? Thirdly, did you tell the visa officer why you choose Canada? Fourth, did you actually tell the visa officer why you decided to study that particular program? Another reason is, did you tell the visa officer on that letter of explanation what that program is going to do to you when you finish the program and how it's going to be beneficial to your community? Another reason is, did you actually explain to the visa officer why you actually want to study this program? Or maybe the connection within this program and your previous job or your previous programs. Did you actually explain that? If yes, then I think that with all these reasons, if everything being equal, you can get the visa. If you do all these things I just mentioned now, you are going to get the visa. Yes, quote me anywhere. I said if you do them, you can get the visa. A study visa or a visit visa. You must be able to show things. Do not remember, another big thing I realize a lot of people are doing is, you go to the family form online, you say that you don't have a brother. On the family form, you don't put anything. You, for the section for the brother or sisters, you don't put anybody. Then you come to your letter of explanation, you say that you have 2 brothers and they are all in Cameroon. You don't even attach birth certificate. That you are going to get a rejection, and the reason will be inconsistency in your purpose of visit to Canada. They are going to write this like this. Yes, you cannot be saying that you cannot do your biometrics in Cameroon. You live in Dubai, you do your biometrics in Cameroon. Then at the end of the day, you are telling the visa officer that you have a job in Dubai, but your biometrics is showing that you did it in Cameroon. How do you have a job in Dubai and you are doing biometrics in Cameroon? At the end of the day, you will be rejected. So these are some of the things that will get you into problems when you are applying for these visas. I'm just explaining this so that you listen. And please, if you need a one-on-one with me, book from the video description box, okay? So that we can talk extensively. And remember, proof of funds is very important. Letter of explanation, very important. There is something someone is showing me. I'm not very certain about this. Those of you who want to apply for visitors visa, please go and start creating the account and try to do it as if you want to start their visa application and see if they will give you a gap, because someone just showed me a screenshot, and according to that screenshot, it looks like they have closed the application for visitors visa for now. The portal says they have accepted 10,000 people already and they cannot take more. I don't know how true this is. I'm going to verify very soon. I hope this will help you till we meet again in another one.